Magdalena, this is feedback for your interim submission for the hotel project. The assessment criteria for this aspect of the project were concept, annotation of information, planning solution, visual presentation of this interim proposal, and materials, finishes and products. And I think in all of those instances you've kind of ticked the box on those. If we talk about concept, first of all, I see you've managed to incorporate little mood boards for each of the areas. I'm trying to think back to this initial concept board, and I don't know whether that's worthwhile maybe including, or whether you've kind of evolved and developed away from that. Something to think about for the final presentation. But I'm certainly drawn to the two bottom sheets that you've pinned up with your sketch illustrations of your 3 spaces, with an indication of some of the materials and finishes and detailing that you're incorporating into that. And I think that's very effective. I think it kind of it's from the illustrations that I showed you, but I think it is very useful in illustrating some of the thoughts that you've had at this stage of how the interior is going to look and some of the finishes that are going to go with it. I think the kind of colour bandings as well are quite useful to illustrate what colours you've kind of picked out and incorporating into this space. So not looking too closely at them, but the finishes and materials are quite indicative of the mood boards that you've created there. Again, your illustrations hint at the interior spaces, and again, once you start to work on the detailing sections and elevations, and really get into your plans and start to create your finished visuals, I think this has shown a lot of potential. We'll have a wee look at the planning solution. The reception area seems to work effectively. You've positioned your reception area underneath your new stair. So just watch that when you're drawing it, because you will be able to have public space underneath the stair. Again, that'll show up when you're working in sections, because once you obviously get past head height, you can maybe be thinking what's happening at the back edge of the reception, which actually I think you have when we look at your sketch visual. But again, you may find you've got more space behind that area than you initially anticipated. Moving up the stairs, I have put quite a few little question marks, and that's really on areas where it would be worthwhile looking at and thinking about what might be happening in those spaces. As a kind of circulation space just outside the lift, it's quite a big area, so you might want to think about, are people walking straight into the bar area, or are you creating a orientation space, or even a safe space for people to either wait or certainly gain access through doors opening out into the bar area. Talking further about the bar area, your feature divider, that's fine. Again, that's what I think you're showing in your sketch perspective there. Just watch your bar position and the space you've got between the bar and the window. That will be something to have a wee look at. Your dance floor area and your DJ area are taking up quite a lot of space, and again, it might be worthwhile thinking that might not be happening all the time. So should you consider furniture that can be moved to the side, or something different within that space? Have a wee look at that. Working into, well, not even before we get to the restaurant, you've omitted to show access into your toilet spaces, so just make sure you sort that one out. I know these are just at this stage sketch plans. We've got a station area in the restaurant, and again a lot of kind of space there that you need to be kind of looked at. You've got it's basically just a furniture layout in the restaurant, so again I think you should look at how you maybe use your furniture and partitionings maybe to make the space less open and maybe a bit more designed into this space. Going into the back areas, again, just watch your access corridors, size of the access corridors, doors. I think I'm looking at putting doors towards this kitchen area there. They've omitted, again, doors into this small kind of function suite gallery space that you've got there. And again, you've got a sort of bar counter. Have a think about whether you actually need that there, or whether you could use the bar counter or the bar in the bar lounge bar area to service that. And in that instance, you might want to think about where you're locating that particular bar. I have put a couple of squiggles between your quiet area and this kind of functions room gallery space. Thoughts being that, again, if you wanted a more flexible space, you could maybe have sliding doors there, or folding doors that would sort of open out that space. So I think I'd like you to have a kind of look at the planning aspects again, and look at the sort of, not necessarily structural aspects, but again, think about it not just as a sort of furniture layout, but really have a good look at how you imagine people will use the space. It's maybe something that we can have a talk about at the drawing board. Okay, thank you.